Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Edmund, your host for the next few hours, along with Gal here in the studio.
Hello, hello.
Hello. I can't use the,
The mouse isn't working?
Uh-oh.
It's got something to do with this. All right.
Good morning, everyone.
And Spence is here.
What we have here is a failure to communicate.
And Nick is here.
Howdy.
Howdy. Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by VMix Software, Telestream, Wirecast Software, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear.
And by all the coffee manufacturers in the world.
I'm having
I think it's the first time that we're all with glasses.
So what's going on?
What's going on?
What's going on?
No, nothing much.
Did somebody introduce the bill in the Senate to make daylight savings time permanent? I wholeheartedly agree.
I don't know.
You mean not changing the clock? That's what you mean?
Keep it at this. Well, they say make daylight savings time permanent. I don't care whether it's daylight savings time or not.
Right.
But whatever you make it permanent so we don't keep going through these changes. There's no reason for it anymore.
I remember here in the States, it's an agricultural history,
it was
right?
about the seasonal harvest.
Right. In Israel, it's actually religious is mostly in control of this, because there's an early morning prayer, right? And so the reason they change it like a week between 1 week to 3 weeks different than the U.S. Is usually because it has to do with the time people need to wake up for prayer, whether it's like really, really, really dark or just about to set light and stuff like that. So, yeah. So I think tying it to agriculture reasons still makes a bit more sense than our version. So
I remember when I was a kid, what they told us, the reason why was so kids didn't have to be on the school bus stop in the morning in the dark.
Well,
that was the explanation to us as kids. Why do we do this? So that it was a safety thing. And I mean, over the years, you can have lots of different reasons why it's a good idea. But
yeah, it has some merit. I think it's not worth the bother. Yeah, I agree.
In the I guess it was the late 70s with the energy issues. It became a. They actually had it. Amnon, do you remember? Was it where they made it temporarily permanent, or they didn't have it at all? I think it was just temporarily permanent for energy reasons.
With the what?
To save energy somehow. They made it. They suspended.
So you'll have more
changes,
more time of light in the winter.
Yeah. So, but that was the reason.
Everything was for farmers.
Yeah.
It was for
no,
farmers.
I mean it was actually to keep to make it so that back then. Remember when you're supposed to turn your thermostat down and wear a sweater, and Carter would come on TV and with the tell you, we all have to be cold, so put your sweaters on and turn your thermostats down.
That was in 73, 74.
Yeah, during the oil embargo.
Yeah.
I can remember the gas lines waiting online.
Yeah.
We used to have this thing. I had an old van, and we'd get in the van, and as you crept forward to get gas, you turn your engine off and wait, and then about every so many minutes, everybody would pull ahead and turn their engines off, and um, we had a bunch of us would sit in the van with our instruments and we'd play music with the van doors open just for
The good thing is you knew where the music is coming from.
that's true. There were not many, unless it was coming from inside your head. You're pretty sure where it was coming from.
Well, that depends on the prescriptions you were on.
Wait, I have to listen to what the music is telling me to do.
Exactly. So Amnon sent me this yesterday, and it's about a copyright advocacy group called Creative Future. The Wikipedia page about them is Creative Future is an advocacy organization of over 540 American entertainment organization and 190,000 individuals with a goal of combating content theft, commonly called piracy, and protecting American intellectual property. Basically, everything we would call in the past MPAA is suing, blah, 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 blah. It's probably now part of this Creative Future. And the article was about Creative Future noticing Plex and pointing out that Plex isn't doing enough to prevent piracy. I mean, if it was up to me, I would always side with the truly creative resources around a project like Plex, right? Because Plex takes technology and provides a way of doing things really, really, really. I think they're doing it actually right. Do people pirate content and use Plex to play it? For sure. People
everything else.
Yeah, people use Windows to pirate that content, by the way. I'm pretty sure there are ISPs providing the internet to pirate that content. And Plex is providing a way of playing that content. And yes, it is also providing a way of sharing it. But it also provides a way of sharing personal created content with families especially. And it is a way of creating a small community with the people you trust. And that is an important distinction. So should they be targeted? Obviously not in my opinion, right? But it's my opinion and I don't count. I also do not, I mean, I funnel a lot of money to the movie production companies by going to the cinema and watching the content they are creating. So as a fan of their content, I say they should not focus as much effort on this. I think they're missing a huge point. Counting pirated content as lost revenue, I think it's a misguided calculation always. That's my point of view. I've always said that. So
it has to be potential.
It is. I mean, there is a potential, but I think they do not realize that the people who probably do pirate it are either people who do not really have access to the content, so they will never be able. The fact that these rights owners do not know how to reach this audience does not mean that the piracy comes from a wrong place, right? These are fans wanting to see the content, wanting to hear the content. And the solution of fighting piracy is making it accessible, making it easy to reach, and making it inexpensive enough right, for everybody to consume, and then the revenue will come in. And that has been proven again and again and again by those who were bold enough to actually share their stuff. I mean, YouTube is one of the we love bashing YouTube from time to time over here, but we need to remember that YouTube, right, is this amazing platform that today the movie producers, the right owners, are publishing for free the content because it brings them revenue, right? Through ads, yes. We don't, maybe we don't really like all of everything that it gives and the monetization, but so in any way, Plex has been finally come up the radar of the big copyright organizations. We knew this will come. It'll be interesting to see if this goes anywhere. One of the most interesting things is this is happening only after Plex in the past year has been partnering with Warner Brothers, with and two other studios, I forget their names, for providing ad-based, legally okay content. And so it is, I think it's the first time that a service like this is actually on the radars after it's doing something legit. Usually, if we're talking about Napster, which was huge, if we're talking about Groove Shark, which was a music service in the past that provided something very similar to Spotify. It was based on user-uploaded content, though. So they went bust as well because they didn't get to the point of legitimate content soon enough, and so they had to shut down. But this is an interesting new case. Plex is under the spotlight of copyright advocates after they've already reached out to the industry and are doing something that that is okay with them. So,
well, I mean, it's the same as what we're talking about, mentioning it for years now. I remember in the 80s or 90s, what's the name of that program that you?
Napster.
No music. The one that you draw with, the high end.
PowerPoint, Photoshop,
AutoCAD.
No, AutoCAD. AutoCAD. Yeah,
AutoCAD. Yeah,
AutoCAD.
that's
And everybody had a copy of AutoCAD,
which was thousands of dollars per
this was a
license.
Biggest thing. Oh, I've got a copy of it. Oh, big deal.
Yeah.
And the company never did anything about it. They didn't care because the I don't know the rumor, but the pieces of news that were circulating is they really don't care because they know those who pirated are not going to be doing much with it anyway.
Right.
But there's a very good chance that somebody who pirates it will see how it is and will take it to the office and show the boss. He said, "Look, we can do this," and then they'll buy it.
Right.
It's I mean, you can pirate what? You can make your own booze, right? Okay, how much can you make? And now you're not supposed to sell it, but if you make it and you just put it on the shelf, nobody's losing anything. But somebody may take.
This is exactly how it happened with where I worked, because we had our bootleg versions of AutoCAD that we played with, and then when we got into doing plant-wide or campus-wide designs and building-wide designs, AutoCAD became the standard. So we all were familiar with it, and then we bought the corporate licenses. And you're exactly right. They knew that you weren't producing there were things you could tell about the bootleg and pirated versions of it. So if you brought a copy in that was created on a pirated machine, almost always there was something wrong with it, right? The file. So you introduce it into a corporate environment, and you just. I remember back to the days of the RIAA suing, going after the lady who
Yeah.
had, a kid in the house that downloaded music.
Right.
Metallica songs.
Yeah, or somebody was pirating somebody's Wi-Fi and taking music off, and they sued the owner of the Wi-Fi for tens of thousands of dollars. And it's like, you know what, guys, you're setting a precedent and putting a bad taste in people's mouths. Work with us here. So yeah, it's good to see that.
Yeah.
I'm all for this because I think there's a lot of small contributors that get screwed. If the big people have the lawyers they can sue, but the small guy that creates content and doesn't have the protections of the law firm or whatever, those are the guys that I want to see protected, because they're the ones that could become so big if they had the opportunity and they had a level playing field.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
What's the name of this group?
Creative. What's the name again? Creative Future. No space.
So it seems like they're only dealing with digital content, which is fine. But what about the companies that make products in the United States and China rips them off? I mean, to me, that's a bigger deal than somebody pirating a copy of the Avengers movie.
Well, I mean,
you want to talk about something that's actually hurting businesses.
you're talking about like
15
patent logs.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's still intellectual property.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a patent on a certain bracket or something like that, and some Chinese company rips it off and puts it on Amazon for an eighth of the price. I mean, I'm not talking about an actual problem. I mean, who cares? It's a freaking movie.
there were
I mean, seriously. I mean, seriously, you're talking about like it's a song. Who cares?
It's entertainment. It
Yeah,
is
great.
the lowest.
Let's talk about there's a company in Charlotte, or I think it's in Charlotte. Yeah, I think it's in Charlotte. There's a company in Charlotte that makes or made some sort of something to do with the toilet flap that's in your tank, and they were the only ones that made this thing, and now a Chinese company is making it and flooding the market with it, and they're out of business because they couldn't compete. I mean, you want to talk about like an actual problem? There it is. I mean, Warner Brothers isn't firing any staff because Gal torrented the most recent WB movie.
I never did that.
I know. Okay, I torrented the most recent WB movie. There's nobody's getting fired over that. There's no some cost, and I'm not saying that piracy is okay or it's, but there's no cost for me pirating something.
I had dinner with an old friend from IBM this past week, and we were talking about technology in general. And he mentioned how he knew somebody who worked for a defense contractor in the United States that had innovative technology. I don't remember some type of a defensive system. I don't think it was a weapon system, but the question came up. So how much asked him, how much of this does the Chinese have? He said, all of it. All of it had been stolen.
Oh.
And they already have it. So it's like we're trying to develop hypersonic weapons, the next generation of hypersonic weapons to overcome the ones that are already out there, and scrambling now I don't know if it's a catch-up thing or just scrambling now to have technology so we have something that's unique. So the good part about this pirated stuff is that it isn't necessarily pirated and developed by the best people. So
that's what I'm saying.
We copied this missile defense system. Yeah. And it found out in Syria recently that the missiles were being fired, and as soon as they were fired, within a few seconds, their guidance systems were taken over and they flew them into the ground. So somebody did this. Somebody figured out that these people had copied this technology, and now because they copied it, the people that developed it said, "Oh, we can break into that." So yeah, there's always an advantage to being copied.
Yeah.
Yeah, there seems to be more damage being done with stealing like patents and like physical products and devices than there is a movie. Not that stealing a movie is okay or is acceptable or should not be illegal. They're just, I mean, if I were focusing on trying to protect businesses, I think that's where I'd probably be focusing instead of Time Warner.
Oh, I prefer to watch the handheld cam version of a movie from somebody stealing it in the theater. Much better. Remember the early days of that when they would record it and then
It's
they'd
still
put it up.
it's still
They still
happening.
do
Man.
that.
People coughing and people would stand up and you
Yeah.
see.
It's still
They
happening.
still do that, and some of the quality's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, now they
They
have
always show
stabilizers.
in the movie theaters now when you go and they warn you against piracy, they
Yeah.
always show a guy sitting there with a hoodie.
Yeah.
Right. I'm stealing
That's why-
this movie.
That's why I always wear hoodies and bring a false camera in,
That's
so
it.
that when the guy comes around and goes, I got you. I say, oh no, sorry, this is just my flask. It's not a video camera. It's a
But
Yeah.
let's go back to Plex. I read the article, and the interesting thing also is that Plex was not created to do it.
No.
It was created and it was used for some time. And then someone said, "Oh, I can also do that." And
Like-
bam!
Like every other piece of software.
I
right?
don't know. A lot of
Plex
other-
itself. Let's just refresh what Plex does. Plex is a media player.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
It does not download anything. It does match metadata of content by its name. So if you have a movie, I don't know, Planet of the Apes, okay? You have a video file named Planet of the Apes. It goes and searches internet sources like IMDb and stuff like that. It goes and searches and downloads metadata so you get a description of the video. So if you have a Blu-ray, you ripped it to your computer and you want to watch it in any TV at home, right? Plex is the tool to do that. You rip it to your computer, you run the Plex server software, and any smart TV today, even the very old ones, they have a Plex app in them, and you just play it using that. It works. It's very simple to set up. Non-techies people, not people like me, not people who are passionate about technology, just people who just want to be able to run something, and they can do it. It's very, very simple, and all you need to know is what a file is. That's it. That's the level of technical knowledge that you need to know. And so that is what Plex is doing. There's an additional bit, and that's what really bothering this group. And I understand why it bothers them. It's not like, oh, they're evil. No, they're not evil. They're there to protect certain rights. What Plex allows me to do is not only play it on every TV at my home, it also allows me to share my content, the content that I have on my server, with somebody outside of my home, with somebody that is logging in using a different login. And however, while I can download from my server, for example, my friend cannot download from my server. I don't even have the option of allowing that. So they do the sharing is only on the terms of streaming. Amnon, Nick, Spence, I can invite them to stream from my server. The cost, it will cost me bandwidth. I'll need to keep my server on all the time, right? And yes, a lot of people who buy into the Plex subscription, they do that. Is it wrong? Is it wrong to invite somebody to my home and watch, like a group of 10 people, and watch a movie together? I would say no. If you'll ask the right owners, they probably say they'll probably try to put in a rule of 5 people tops, right? They'll always try to limit it in a way. Is it digital transmission of something? Yes. Am I charging for it? No, right? Like, are there people who are charging for it? I am guessing there are.
I'm sure
right?
there are.
I'm guessing there are, and I would definitely say targeting them is okay because they're trying to profit on something that was legitimately made, that has a legitimate distribution channel to it, right? But if I'm sharing it with a friend just so we can discuss the same content and we can talk about it, I think communities are no longer limited to who I can meet face to face, right? I mean, when I met Amnon for the first time, it was virtual, right? Today we're good friends, we're sitting next to each other, but we did it over the internet. If it's through content, I can see that as well.
You know, you brought in something very interesting. So if I go and I rent a DVD,
Right.
I don't even know that there's places where you can do it anymore.
A Redbox, you can still go, right?
Okay.
DVDs,
And I get a DVD.
Blu-rays.
I watch the movie.
Yeah.
Why can't I give it to you to watch it also at home? I rented it for 24 hours.
You can. There's no way of stopping you. There's probably some clause in the EULA, right, that says you shouldn't do that, but...
Yeah, but so to go even farther, so I have HBO.
Okay.
And there's a movie that everybody loves.
Right.
I said, you know what? Everybody wants to watch it. Let's get together, like you said, on Friday night, and let's everybody watch it.
Right.
I'm paying for the service. Like you said, is there anything that says that I cannot invite friends over to watch a movie?
So let me ask you this.
Sure, I can.
Let me ask you this. What happens with a sports bar, right? Buying
Right,
the
yeah,
pay-per-view, right? Do they pay differently
I
than
don't know.
just the
Yes.
user?
Yes, they do.
Right.
They
But
do?
but why? Because they are charging admission, right?
Yes,
They
they're
are
actually
people
yeah,
are
they're
coming
actually-
right. People are coming to buy food and drink, right, to watch the game. That's
Yeah, it's astronomical, by the way, the price that they pay. Like, it can be upwards, it can be thousands and thousands of dollars
right.
for a $199 pay-per-view or something.
So I wonder, right, if the industry eventually will get to a point where right now everybody's hoarding, including these organizations, right? Netflix was the first one to provide like a viable streaming solution for movies, but now everybody wants their own share, right? HBO and Disney and they're all Hulu.
And the bank down the street.
Right.
And the,
And so
And Amnon, I mean, geez,
Right.
This guy.
yeah. And so now, right, there's no single place when I can get everything that I want because it's all segregated into these separate buckets. I wonder if these organizations will eventually get to a point where they rent the rights, like everybody can be their own, CNBC local broadcaster, but instead of being targeted at tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of audience, right, millions, it'll finally be, there'll be an option for me to do it with like 20 friends, right, and keep it smaller, closer, right, democratize all of this content consumption, right, because that's what's happening eventually. And as we said, it's usually driven by piracy first. The pirates show that there's a viable marketplace out there that nobody ever thought, or they didn't even want to imagine because they think that they'll make less through it, right? But eventually they figure out that people are willing to actually pay, yeah, a small amount, but a lot of people are willing to pay, and suddenly they get the benefit, they reap the benefits, right? But somehow this process is always very slow to evolve compared to the technology that evolves around it. So, yeah.
I tell you what, man, I live my life by this. For example, if I'm going to have a girl over to watch a movie, I buy 2 copies just so that the right holders can get their rights. Same thing with TV shows. I would never.
Oh, yeah, no, we love the right holders. We care about them.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you know, anytime. And I make them sign a form, too.
Oh, yeah.
A disclaimer.
Yeah. What do you do? What do you do when you break up, though?
I sell the copies on the black market.
That's it.
I sell them.
There's a special market just for dating, for selling old, you know, for past girlfriends. It's right there. Yeah.
You know,
I'm actually the owner of the domain. It's ex-girlfriend movies or something. Actually, I could probably go.
Don't go there. Please,
don't go there. No, but I think Amnon, you make a really good point with that. It's against the terms of service to do what you said. I think let's say, okay, here's a great example. You have a big backyard. Let's say you go on Amazon and get one of those 100-foot projection screens and one of those like $89 projectors,
right?
And have the whole crew over to watch
whatever,
some HBO movie.
Yeah,
that is, in my opinion, just as bad as torrenting it. You're still breaking the EULA and you're still breaking the terms of service, but I don't hear anybody ever talking about that.
And most importantly, nobody who's going to come for the screening is ever going to buy the content themselves or rent it.
Right.
Well, that's what's so weird is it's like, you know, we and again, we're not saying that piracy is okay or isn't a problem or illegal. But if you're gonna go after Plex because of that, then you also need to go after Amnon, who has people over to his house to watch a movie during the summer, which is a very very popular thing. A lot of people do that.
Right.
Hey, I remember when I was back in New York, one of our neighbors had a projector, invited the entire neighborhood over to watch something on Netflix. There's no way that's not illegal, but there's no way that's valid in their terms of service. You're absolutely breaking the EULA.
I've done it. I actually used to show DVDs. I had a projector. I'd set up a screen in the yard. Neighbors would come over and we watched a movie.
Well, the police are coming to your house, so your reign's
no,
over.
I never charged anybody anything.
Your reign is over.
That's it. You know, I just remembered this. This is from years ago. There was an attempt before the internet was there for us to do this in the early days. There was low power FM. Do you remember this?
There's still LPFMs.
Yeah, but low power FM was a way for people to have their own, express themselves, right? To have their own, and it's still out there, but I really don't think it's popular.
Oh, there's a station down here I listen to. It's the ZERF, low power FM.
But
it's a lot easier with IP radio.
The problem I had was that the range was like 3 blocks.
That's why it's low power FM.
Yeah. But in a residential neighborhood, it's useless. If you're in
there's 2 different kinds. Yeah. You're probably talking about so there's 2 different kinds. There's low power FM that is under the wattage required by the FCC to have a license. Then there's actual LPFM, which is a license, which I believe limits you to 25 or 50 watts.
Oh no, that wasn't. This was the low power under the license threshold.
Yeah, they use.
Gotcha. So this wasn't even low power. So, but there is actually stations, LPFM stations that there's one in town here that gets a pretty.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about overlapping with other stations.
Yeah.
Normally they would have to be.
But they're nonprofits. They can't make any money.
Yeah.
So it's kind of.
You threw me back to Pump Up the Volume. You remember that movie?
Yeah. What was the movie about they made a movie about the old freighter that was off the coast of Long Island that was broadcasting.
Radio Elizabeth?
Well, I think that was what it was. Yeah.
Radio Caroline.
It was outside in international waters, and they were broadcasting. They made a movie about it.
Yeah. The boat that rocked.
Yeah, Radio Caroline. That was very popular. That was a UK thing, and it really they actually still broadcast. They were really they really pushed radio forward in the UK because the BBC was
Oh, the monopoly.
and BBC was not playing
Rock
at
music.
the time rock that people wanted to hear. So Radio Caroline was a big old shipping boat that they put a AM array on, AM tower array, and would play music off of the boat in international water, blast it into the UK.
Yeah, and I think they got the idea from the name, from piracy, right? They said, hey, if we're going to be pirates, then let's do it from a boat. It was like...
Yeah. Founded in 1964 to circumvent record companies' control of popular broadcasting on the BBC.
Yeah, so there was a Long Island pirate radio station off back in 1990. What was it? I remember this happening because they showed pictures of this really rusty old freighter that was used as the radio station.
Yeah, there was one in Israel that became very popular in Europe. It was called the Voice of Peace.
The peace ship.
Yeah.
This is
Maybe
what Radio
nothing.
Caroline looked like. Just a huge AM array, a huge AM tower on it.
Jeez.
Radio Caroline. Yeah.
And they wound up using it for bombing target practice eventually. Oops, sorry. We thought it was a threat.
Pretty interesting, though.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what else we have here. I know we got something. Oh, did you hear that Intuit, the accounting, tax, filing, and financial planning software giant behind QuickBooks, TurboTax, and Mint, confirmed that it is planning to acquire Credit Karma.
Credit Karma is one of the biggest shams in the world. Credit Karma is our equivalent to the Chinese credit social score system that they are. I'm being dead serious. You ever seen the commercials for Credit Karma? That's their whole thing.
I don't know. They say by joining forces with Credit Karma, we can create a personalized financial assistant.
Exactly. That's exactly what they're trying to do. The social credit system.
Yeah.
But what does Credit Karma do? How does it work?
Credit Karma is it's a credit score service, which by itself isn't an issue, but they have like gamified it essentially, where and not gamified it. They have just turned it into this. I can't really explain it. You have to log in and look at it, and they've just turned it into this like, there's like goals and stuff. It's just very weird. And it's like,
the way they incent people. They give them.
Yes.
It's like you said. It was gaming. Like, oh, I want to be famous in gaming, or I want to go to this. Getting your credit score up is akin to having likes. They're encouraging people to. It's the good. If
but
you
are
want to go
they encouraging people
for free? It's a good service.
But are they encouraging correctly? Right. First of all, where do they get the score from? Is it based on
you have to sign up?
Oh, you sign up,
what
and
I mean is
they go to the credit reporting companies, and it's just an aggregator of information for you. It's
okay.
They're able to access the four credit rating companies, and they'll aggregate a score for you and tell you. I used it one time because it is good because you can go and look up old accounts and things like this to find out there's something active or look for a suspicious activity.
Okay.
Do they have a paid for monitoring service now, Nick?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Because it used to be it was all paid for by advertising.
Yeah, but just listen to the name, Credit Karma.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Listen, there's a connotation behind what.
Yeah,
that
I want to
means.
reach the desired state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the modern. It's exactly the same thing as the Amazon and Google Home devices. Shut up! This damn phone going off now.
It's Credit Karma calling you. They haven't.
No, it's the assistant on my phone because I mentioned the G word is going off. it's very similar to that. We laugh at China and go, ha ha ha, social credit score system, you idiots. And yet we're over here like salivating over Credit Karma and putting NSA devices in our houses. I mean, it's a very interesting approach to the social credit system, in my opinion.
So the reason I'm asking is, I remember signing up for that. I mean, they probably still have all of my information, right? I've never really removed my account, and I also use Mint from Intuit, which are, as far as I remember, the process was very similar. You allow them to aggregate the information from your financial accounts, right? And yes, you need to trust them to do it and keep it safe. But once you do it, you get like this aggregated view of everything. Now, sounds like Intuit is already doing it, and they're either buying to crush or buying to, gain access to the user data from Credit Karma. But I don't see anything inherently evil in Credit Karma.
There's not anything inherently evil. It's just the system that they're trying to create is I personally I don't agree with.
So one of the things you're comparing is social status. But how does that go into Credit Karma? Do you hook up your friends to it?
Do you hook up your what?
Do you manage a social network within it? Like
no.
Okay.
But no. And the social credit system is this idea in China that if your social credit system drops below a certain thing, you can't get a train ticket or you can't do certain things. You are judged by your social standing, and Credit Karma kind of does something interesting.
Okay.
With that, you're doing this, and you should not do that, and change it to this. I mean, I'm not saying that the service is evil. I just think it's an interesting attempt at, kind of gamifying the credit score, and I don't know. I don't like it.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, they're tapping into technology in a way that Intuit probably hasn't done. So this is an advantage because now you have at your fingertips apps that do this stuff. You don't have to. It used to be when you had credit services like this and protection services, you had to call in. There was no way for you to just say, "Oh, let me unfreeze my credit right now, and I can go buy this thing and then refreeze my credit on my phone." So I think it's them getting into the app business, so to speak. So they do provide some level of monitoring. They supposedly help you make decisions about credit. I think they do things like, is it Credit Karma that has like, here are the best credit cards?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they make recommendations. So I'm sure these credit cards are not just standing idly by. They're trying to promote themselves within the ranking system so that people sign up for them. So this is how they make their money. That's why it's a free service. So,
yeah.
Spence, you ready for the specials?
Specials, yeah. I'm mostly awake. So we have a special version today because I actually gave myself a break this morning and got up a little bit later than I actually got up my normal time, but it was an hour later. So. Give me a second just to make it larger here. So this is a special daylight savings time version of specials. We're calling it the Oversleeper Specials. And I just went out and just found a bunch of interesting stuff on Amazon this morning to talk about. So these are not from the ads. All right, everybody ready for Computers 2K Now specials it's already March 8th.
Go for it.
All right. So, little gadgets, little cool things. Not all of them necessarily high technology, but they've got a little selfie remote control camera shutter that works. It's wireless for iPhone, iPad, Galaxy, all different tablets and phones. is called Gadgen. Some of these names are amazing. Gadgen Bluetooth.
They're running out of names. That's why.
Oh, they are. Look at the drug companies. They have got just the most bizarre names now. It's like they just, you know how when you get a ticket on an airline, they have that 6-letter code. It's like that now. The letters just don't make up words. It just, how do I pronounce that? I have a random word generator. All right, but the Gadgen Premium Selfie Remote Control Camera Shutter is $23.87, and I think there's probably cheaper versions of this. But this caught my eye because it was a nice device. You could set your phone up somewhere, and instead of doing the timer, you could just press the button. It's kind of like a remote selfie stick kind of thing. This was intriguing. This Ipivo, that's the name of this thing. Portable Interactive Whiteboard System, which I thought, I didn't really drill down into how it does it, but it looked really interesting. Portable whiteboard system.
So I think I know how it does it. I don't know if you guys were ever interested in Nintendo Wii. You remember how Nintendo Wii works?
Yep.
So there's a camera, an infrared camera in the controller on a Nintendo Wii, and the stationary side has the two infrared lights, and by moving the controller, it would know where you're pointing, etc. There was a guy, an engineer, he reversed it, and by taking the stationary red lights, he would do the infrared lights. He would do something else. He would put the controller stationary, and he wrote his own software, and he made it so that whatever is tracking the red light, you can if you're picturing like a whiteboard, it would catch the red light and will create an image for it. And so this seems like it's exactly that same concept. You have a camera that you put stationary somewhere that tracks the pen that probably has a light at the end, and you draw, and the camera tracks it, and then it creates an image, and then you can just print it.
So it'd be fun if you hacked into this from the back of the room during a presentation.
Yep.
And started drawing stuff on the screen. I'd like that. Well, I like that feature in Wii. I have a crossbow app, crossbow game, which actually sets you up. You put the two controllers into what it looks like the stock of a crossbow.
Okay.
And you play the game and you move it around, and the crosshair moves around on the screen. It's a lot of fun. It's hard.
Yeah.
But it's one of these games where you start to play and you look at your watch, you say, God, it's 2:00 in the morning. I didn't realize I was playing for 3 hours. I have that sitting in my bonus room now, not set up. I really should set it up again. I have the Wii Fit there too, which I should be using. But all right, now there's a lot of these out there. These little Pico projectors, these tiny little multimedia projectors. And you can get them from $50, but you could also pay $2,000 for one, depending on the quality and what the lumens are. But they're still out there. These mini projectors, lots of different versions of it. Prices vary greatly. This one's $50.
But you know when we'll know that they are successful? When Creative Futures starts mentioning them as potential threats.
Yeah. Some guy took it out and was showing it on the bus. Showing my movie. I didn't get any credit for it. All right. So, Amnon, this is for you. This is the Reinar Universal Multifunction Portable Spider Flex Grip Holder for smartphones and tablets. This could be interesting. I mean, I have a couple of different cradles for smartphones that are just a fixed bracket that has an angle to it. You can set the phone in. This would actually be pretty interesting. It's only $4.99. You can create whatever you want there to hold it in whatever position you want. I don't think it'll work if you're laying in bed, though.
It's made of pipe cleaners.
That's it. The next one
Actually,
is, if you're really concerned about your blood oxygen saturation level, the again, the name, the Vacurate Pro Series 500 DL fingertip pulse oximeter blood oxygen saturation monitor, with batteries and lanyard for $24.95.
So next time.
Actually, this would be useful if you're somebody that's got respiratory challenges and you're monitoring at home. This is an easy way to check your oxygen saturation, which is an important thing for some people.
Or when you go to the emergency room and they come to hook you, say, no, I've got my own, thank you.
I got my own.
I trust my own only.
Here's my printout of my oxygen levels for the last 24 hours. So you're all set. Now, Amnon, when you open the drive-through at your house, this is what you need. Again, the names. The Retivus. Retivus.
Okay.
They're making fun of us. That's it. The people that produce this stuff, wherever it comes from, they're actually silently mocking us with all these names. They have to be. So, all right, the Retivus RT9908 anti-interference bank counter window intercom system with two-way intercommunication. So you got the base station with the microphone and speaker, and then the remote puck that sits outside. So you can talk to people on the other side of the glass.
Is it for budding capitalists who want to get their kids to play bank?
That's it. Yeah, why not? Or that, or get people used to all retail in the future will be behind bulletproof glass.
So instead of lemonade stands, we'll start seeing these out in the neighborhood?
That's it. You put the cups out there, and it's on the honor system. They pull up. It talks to them from inside the house for security reasons. Oh, boy. You can't make this stuff up. $43.99. Now, this next product, I actually own a version of this. I was looking for headphones that would be comfortable to sleep on, because sometimes I will fall asleep either listening to a podcast or listening to music. And if I leave my earbuds in and I roll over on my side, I can wake up and why is my ear hurt? Oh, it's because the earbuds are in my ear. And I looked at getting like little soft gel ones, and it's like, nah. The only thing I don't like about this, it's great. It's a Bluetooth setup. It's good for 8 hours. It wraps around your head with a Velcro. They do make one that's just a headband. But I like the idea of this one if I'm on a plane or something and I want to, black out everything and try to sleep. That's why I got this one. Same functionality, about the same price. Why they call it 3D is, I don't know.
So there's no LEDs or display or anything?
No, it just covers your eyes, and it has a Bluetooth. It has two little repositional Bluetooth speakers that you can move around inside the band, so you don't have to worry about it being perfectly on your head. And you slide them back and forth inside the little sleeve, and you put them over your ears, and you can listen to music with this. And it's got the controls on it. It actually has a microphone built in, so you can take a call.
Yeah,
I like it. I mean, I use it a couple of times a week, just like I said, to listen to a podcast or go to sleep listening to music. I set the sleep timer on Pandora, and it's very comfortable. You don't have to worry about the thing falling out of your ears or hurting. And something new. I mean, it just took basic Bluetooth components that would go into a set of headphones, and they built it into a mask. Lots of versions of this out there, but it's an interesting thing. But look at the name on this one. Frigenbo. It's got to be the random letter generator. I don't know. Okay, this next device, interesting. Dual, which is a company's been around for a long time. Dual Electronics XGPS 150A multi-purpose universal Bluetooth GPS receiver with wide area augmentation system. It's got a bunch of software too. This is basically a GPS receiver that talks Bluetooth to your handheld device, and you can use it for any purpose that looks for a GPS signal. And it's got some software with it too. You can use it for tracking. You can use it for mapping. You can use it for analyzing where something is in a given space over time. So it's up to you to figure out how to use it. But $85.99 for this portable GPS, rechargeable GPS receiver. Kind of cool. And next, I was intrigued by this because I looked at the camera itself here. This is a video camcorder. Amazlife. I guess it's Amaze Life or something like that, whatever it is.
Amazon
Amaze
Life.
Life. 1080p HD camera with microphone, wide-angle lens, night vision, LCD touchscreen, remote controller, microphone, and a 32 gig memory card for $139. I remember the last time I bought a camcorder. I did. It actually was not a full digital cam. It was digital, but it was digital tape, DV tape, mini tapes. But I have since then borrowed some other people's camcorders that are straight to memory cards. And it is fascinating, the quality and the flexibility you have.
This is cheap.
What?
This is cheap here.
It is cheap. Yeah. It's small though. If you if you figure out by looking at the mic, it is really small. But it doesn't mean it's not a good product to mess around with. So interesting, $139. And there are cheaper versions of this too. I actually have a GoPro knockoff that I bought. It was like $75. The only thing weird about it was that the translated menus were a little hard to follow at first on how to work it. But I figured it out. Works really good. Okay, this is for you, Amnon. The Dreaming Box Children's LED Finger Light Gloves. So when you don't know what to do with yourself and you want to have some, do some animated expressions with your hands, this is the way to go. $10.99. I don't know. It says kid size. I guess it wouldn't fit your hands necessarily. But all right. Cool paper clips, assorted colors, animal-shaped paper clips. Think about it. How you could really energize your workplace by putting your memos together with these special paper clips, right? You can find out what people's favorite animal is, and it'd be a really good way to team building at work, correct? No reaction?
People will use it all in 2 hours. It'll be empty because they put it in their pocket.
And they'll be upset, you gave me the cat, I wanted the dog. Oh, well.
I'm trying, sorry to be the party pooper here, Spence, but how is this related to technology, man?
Well, they were designed.
I'll tell you how.
You can short circuit.
Back in the 80s with the first IBM PC, there was a customer who kept on losing the data on their 5 1/4 discs.
Okay.
They would put them there, and the next time they put it in, there's nothing in it, and they could never figure out why. And turned out that they had paper clips all over, papers and things. There was quite a few of them. How do you store paper clips?
They used to do it in magnetic boxes.
Right.
Yeah.
So they were magnetized.
Okay.
And they were on the desk, and he would lay the thing on, and after a couple of hours, whatever, it'll be bad enough that you couldn't. So so this is.
So these will not corrupt your 5 1/4-inch diskettes. That's our angle.
That's it.
Guaranteed.
That's
Yeah.
It says right on the package. Actually, they were designed with an AutoCAD program. That's what ties them to technology. So
this
they
is
had to
great.
come up with the correct bend radiuses to make this stuff. It's all done it's got to be done by some type of intelligent machine. So, all right. I'm sure it's not individual people bending these things to make them. It would cost way too much. All right, the next one, this is very important because this has been sold out now because of the coronavirus, dehydrated water. You need to have a supply of this in your house.
Oh, this is great.
Just in case. Actually, there used to be a great gag about how dehydrated water, just add hot coffee.
That is even better.
So
Nick,
this is pretty fun.
hey, Nick, you here?
He's off.
He's off. Somebody posted something about this sold in Amazon in one of the Skype chats, and when I clicked on it, it went nowhere. Now I see what it is. Interesting.
I like the name of this company. It's called Witty Yetis. Okay.
Oh,
Whatever. And now this shows you, I actually got up and walked away from doing this morning for a while and came back and I posted I pasted the paper clips on there again.
Yeah,
So
you just really liked it. That's why.
Oh, well. All right. So remember, Amnon, the days when we used to have, people would have the sound horn for their car that would play
all kind of different
not the air horn one, because that only would play one song, you know, like La Cucaracha or something like that.
Right.
But this is the one that would play all the different music through the horn. But this one is the same idea. It's a Zone Tech 5 tone sound car siren vehicle horn with mic, PA speaker, system emergency sound amplifier. 60 watts. Wow. Well, it's got a handheld mic and a cable and a little cord and all that. $17. Maybe have some fun with that.
Yeah.
Right? Pull up and play whatever. You know, I wonder if you could record MP3s and play them through it. As a prank, when I was a teenager, there was in the church I used to go to, I found in an old storeroom, they used to have these giant speakers on the roof that would play church bells. They didn't have a bell tower. They would play it in the morning. Back when I was a kid, they eventually stopped. But it was a big horn with a speaker base that you could unscrew. But if you talk through it, it was like a megaphone. So we used to ride around in the car and put this thing in the window, and it had to be 2 feet across or more, and talk through it as we drove through crowds of people. Oh, the stupid stuff we did when we were kids. Get in trouble. Now this next one, the Hercules Tough Charging Station. It can charge 6 different devices at once and has slots to hold them. So this is you, Amnon. You have 3 tablets and 3 phones that you have to charge on a regular basis.
I got one of those things. It wasn't Hercules, but same thing, 6 of them for the garage for Omar's.
Yeah.
And they're using it, and it works.
Yeah. Oh, they're great. They're great devices. I haven't bought any standalone chargers anymore. I usually buy now a power strip that's got outlets and charging ports on it. The one I have next to my in my bedroom there has got 6 USBs and 4 120 volt outlets on it. Really handy because it just consolidates.
It works. It's nice.
You don't have to worry about power strips, which typically not set up to hold lots of individual charging transformers because they won't fit. You can't fit them all. You'd have to have especially wide spaced ones. So
you actually you can buy on Amazon the
cords, the short cords,
a foot long.
Yeah, I have a bunch of those too
and it
just
works
for that reason.
Great for that. Yeah,
that have they actually have neon in them too, so you can tell that they're on. All right, so finally now,
Edison is finally.
For those of you, I don't know if this is available for same day delivery from Amazon. It's possible, but it could be sold out because of the fact that we're switching now to daylight savings time, leaping ahead. Is the Sonic Bomb dual extra loud alarm clock with bed shaker, vibrating alarm for heavy sleepers. What do you think?
I think I would be lulled to sleep with this vibration. I will use it to go to sleep.
Does it have a slot to put a quarter in?
Yeah, that should call it the Magic Fingers alarm clock, right? That would be something. And
I think it's.
I actually copied part of the blurb here because a loud alarm clock with vibrating alarm, the Sonic Bomb alarm clock with bed shaker. A vibrating alarm is the strongest shaker on the market. The vibrating alarm clock for heavy sleepers sells millions globally. The sonic bomb is 113 decibels. Super loud alarm clock, much stronger than others average 80 dB. 40 years ago, we pioneered the first vibrating alarm clock for heavy sleepers and the deaf.
Hey, Spence,
Yes.
how much?
Oh, the price isn't on there.
Well,
Sorry. No, I had to actually cut and paste the three parts of it.
it's around $30.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Wow.
It's not bad.
32, 31.90.
So what do? You put it under the mattress?
Yeah.
You put the vibrator thing, the puck, under the mattress.
Oh.
And this sits next to the bed.
But
Yeah,
that's
so
the
I
thing.
guess it's wired. I doubt that it's wireless. So it looks kind of cheesy. That's, whether it's going to cheap little buttons on there, but still, I knew somebody who literally had to set 2 or 3 alarm clocks around their room to wake themselves up. And the old-fashioned wind-up kind that had the big bells on it, they just wouldn't wake up. And they'd be sleeping. These alarm clocks would be going off, and somebody would be knocking on their door. Your alarms are going off. Will you please get up? Just a heavy, heavy sleeper.
There's something with 60, 70 volts on it.
Yeah, that would work.
There's a similar concept. I remember Amazon, like cheap Chinese stuff, novelties. There's an alarm clock, also very, very loud, that the only way to shut it out, it has like a quick release helicopter. Remember those that you pull a string and like a child's toy, like that? So this would be the moment the alarm goes off, it releases the helicopter, it flies somewhere in the room, and the only way to shut it down is to take the helicopter and put it exactly to the spot.
Yes,
That was one. And there's another one, an alarm clock with wheels on it.
Yes,
The moment
clocky
it starts,
runaway alarm clock.
and it runs over the room, and you need to chase it in order to
Yeah,
shut it
several
off.
versions of it. That's great. Boy, you could, if you, it would
Well,
be
you
the
can
kind
put
of
the
thing that
leash
you
on it
use it
before you go
once
to
and you
bed.
never want to use it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's
All right.
it for Computers 2K Now specials for March 8th,
Thanks, Spence.
2020. You're welcome.
All right. Let's see what else we have here.
Oh, did you see the story about Intel chip flaw?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but there's nothing
Yeah.
you can do about it.
No, there's nothing. There's nothing because it's.
You can buy AMD.
You can buy AMD, and they said that the only way to get away from it is to buy their 10th generation CPU. So I figured that they paid somebody to say that there's something wrong just in order to ramp up sales.
Tell
I
more
don't know.
stuff. Yeah.
But
could
yeah,
be.
there's nothing you can do about it.
So I'm building a new computer.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get it pulled up here. And I'm going with Ryzen. Going with the Ryzen 9 3900X
As you should.
for the
That's a
for the
fantastic
processor.
architecture.
The Intel i9 is a little bit better of a processor, but it's almost $100 more.
And it has
Right.
the flaw.
Yeah, well, I don't really care
Yeah.
about the flaw.
Yeah.
I haven't ordered everything yet. I'm still hemming and hawing what I want to do. I just had such a poor experience with the AMD FX series. I'm a little I'm not concerned. I shouldn't say. I have a little. I just have a slight bit of hesitation on ordering it because of my piss poor for performance with the AMD FX series.
Yeah, but this is different.
I know it's different, but I mean, come on, Amnon. I mean,
I haven't. Did you hear anything negative about this?
No,
processor?
No. I'm not saying there's anything negative about it, but your past experiences lead to hesitation. And I'm not saying I'm still going to buy it. I'm still going to get the system. So I'm going with an AMD Ryzen R9 3900X, an Asus X570P motherboard, 32 gigs of Corsair Vengeance, and 2 drives, a 1 terabyte Corsair NVMe for my OS and a 2 terabyte NVMe Intel 660 for storage, a 750 watt Corsair modular power supply, and 2 AOC, not Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez,
Yeah, I
but
was just gonna
the
say.
monitor brand, 2 AOC 27-inch 1440 144 hertz monitors. So that's my build.
What Ryzen 9 are you getting? What version?
3900X.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at that now. Actually, that's a
beast.
It's a hell of a deal.
Yeah, it's a
Wow.
$420 for a 12-core processor. I posted the link to my PC part picker build. I'm not getting a new GPU. I currently have a 1070, so I'll update that sometime in the future. But yeah, I'm going I'm going all in. 2 new monitors. I'll replace 4 monitors with 2.
Oh.
Pretty much a whole new computer build, which is this computer I'm on right now. I purchased in February of 2015. For about, I think I purchased it for about $1,200, and I've updated the GPU in it once to the 1070 last year. And yeah, that's what I'm looking at. So if you got any recommendations, I'll probably order it either later today or over the week.
I'm not much into these bleeding edge, but I'm sure you know what you're doing.
Well, I don't, and that's why I watch some YouTube videos and whatnot. I'll tell you that the best deal on this thing though is these monitors. Let me pull this up real quick. And if I'm blabbing on for too long, just stop me.
No, you I mean,
I bought a TV at BJ's, 32-inch TV. It was not a smart TV, but it was $50 off. I bought a TV for $79.
Yeah. This monitor, it's an AOC. It's a 27-inch, but it's a 1440. It is curved. It's got a slight curve in it. Nothing crazy. If we scroll down and look at the pictures, there's some pictures of it set up. See if I can find it here. So like that's what my that's what my setup here will look like. There's not a good way to do that.
That's okay. That's fine. Yeah, that's how when it curves like this, how much space is being wasted behind it? Do you know?
I mean, here we can come back and look at the.
Because you need.
I mean, that's the. Yeah, I mean that's it's not the thinnest monitor in the world.
No, that's fine.
But it's got, I believe, it's got a. I should check this, but I think that's a VESA mount when you take that off. I should probably check that first. But yeah, This is what I'm looking at, and this is, I mean, $230 for a 1440p 144 hertz curved monitor. It's not. I mean, it's a VA panel, so it's not the greatest panel in the world, but it's nice.
What is a VA panel?
It's just the panel technology. You've got TN, VA, IPS, and VA is kind of the low to mid range monitor.
But it's good enough for your gaming stuff.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't want to. You can get
I know you can get more, but this is...
Yeah, exactly. But I don't want to spend $600 on 2 monitors. Yeah, it does have VESA mounts. That's good.
Nick, you need to go by at Walmart. They have a 75-inch television for like $400.
Yeah, but you don't want to game on a TV. The refresh rates are terrible.
Oh, I realize that.
So yeah,
I can't believe I was at Costco yesterday, and they have the difference between the QLED and the OLED televisions, not only in quality but price, was incredible.
Yeah,
the OLED, I think who was it? LG was $2,500 for a 55-inch television, and then the equivalent QLED, which is the bogus marketing stuff, was about $600.
Talking
Yet
about
they-
talking about games, Nick.
Okay.
Nicholas.
Aye.
PlayStation 2
Aye. Yes.
celebrating
Best-selling
its
console of all
20th
time.
anniversary.
Mhm.
20
Well,
years.
the best-selling console ever, and they were making games up until like 2012 or 2013 on it.
Unbelievable.
Hold on, let me see. Last PS2.
Unbelievable. I mean, all these years.
The last PlayStation 2 game to come out was in 2014.
And PlayStation 2 is, as far as I remember, completely offline, right?
No, there are some online games.
Yeah, it had an online option.
It did, yeah. There was a. I had one. It was a large. It looked like a mini PlayStation, and it plugged into the back on some like CAN bus thing, and you could get a. Oh jeez. You could get a. You could get a LAN. You could plug into a LAN. I remember I played a racing game or two online, but it did not
Right.
have. It was not an online in terms of like an Xbox Live
Right.
or a PlayStation or like a PlayStation Network. It was game specific online. But the PlayStation 2 came out in 2000,
Right.
and they were making games up until 2014. The last game came out. So 14 years for games. PlayStation 2 was a groundbreaking game system. Such a cool system. So many thousands, tens of thousands of games.
Yeah, and it overshot the other groundbreaking system that came out at the same time but never survived, right? The Dreamcaster.
The Dreamcast, which was a
Dreamcast,
far
yeah.
better system.
Yeah.
It ran Windows NT. I've got one.
Yeah.
It ran Windows NT, runs Windows NT, and it had full networking via dial-up, which was a little bit too ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And they had some game streaming services. If you're interested in stuff like that, you should really. There's some YouTubers that have done good videos on the history of the Sega Dreamcast, and they were doing game streaming services in like 2002.
Right.
But
Right.
it wasn't well known, and I don't think people had the bandwidth to do it. But Sega did some incredibly groundbreaking things with the Dreamcast.
Yeah, but they
But
couldn't afford it and didn't survive. So yeah,
No, exactly. And you could. There's still online services that run to this day on the Dreamcast.
interesting.
Yep. There's a Raspberry Pi image called Dream Pi, and you put that on there. You hook up a USB dial-up modem to your Raspberry Pi. You plug it in, and you can play 8-ball pool online. Fantastic.
All right. Now, if we don't mention coronavirus, then we are not.
Oh Jesus!
I was trying to buy some hand sanitizer.
Oh, that was a mistake.
It is ridiculous what it costs on Amazon.
Well, don't
Yeah.
look at Amazon. Look at
Don't look anywhere else either.
other online shopping options,
you're right,
but
yeah.
not the huge one, not the large, very
And
popular one.
here is something else. It says, as the COVID-19 outbreak continues to spread to the U.S. and other countries, demand for products like face masks and hand sanitizer has led to a spike in prices. To combat price gouging, online retailer eBay is banning some listings related to the coronavirus.
Very good.
In a notice to eBay seller posted Thursday and spotted earlier by CNBC, eBay said it would block new listing and remove existing listing in the U.S. for disinfecting wipes, hand sanitizer, and face masks, including N95 and N100 mask. The listing are being removed due to concern that inflated prices are, price gouging.
This is such bullshit. Okay, so
No,
here's
but
the
it's
problem.
true. No, it's true.
I know it's true, but why the hell isn't eBay stepping up and doing this for other markets? I mean,
I don't know.
Give me a freaking break.
Yeah, I
Like
don't-
eBay's gonna act like there's some white knight here.
That's right. This
Screw
is just
eBay,
for
man.
the
This
US.
is bullshit.
Good point.
Anytime something comes out, for example, NES Classic sold for $99. People sell them for $500 freaking dollars on
Yeah.
eBay, and
Yeah.
they're being sold. So give me a freaking break. That is absolute bullshit.
Yep.
But
if eBay's gonna care about price gouging, then care about it.
no,
I mean,
hold on.
don't just do it when it's convenient. That's absolutely ridiculous.
But I don't necessarily think it has to do with convenience. It has to do with volume, I think. So if
you're going
it's
to care
not
about
a-
price
it's-
gouging, care about price gouging. Don't care about it when it's a mass hysteria. Yet when I want to buy something and people are price gouging me, I get a big old middle finger from eBay. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with price gouging because
right, it's a free
what
market, right? It's a
yeah, exactly. So if you're not gonna care about price gouging, then don't care. But don't put it in when it's convenient for some people and not for others. I mean, I've gotten shafted on eBay 1,000 times with price gouging because I wanted something. Well, where was eBay protecting me when I wanted to buy that? They didn't care. It's bullshit, is what it is. And it doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
Yeah, they should do it across the board. You're right.
They don't do it for any. That's what eBay is.
Well, now the
Oh, thank God.
another article I read is that the government sent a stern warning letter to Amazon, telling them to stop price gougers.
Yeah. Oh, great. I'm glad.
Well,
Because,
that's
hand
just.
sanitizer.
I mean, here
I'm glad. Good for them.
it's just a letter. Here, eBay at least started doing something. But yeah, I see what you
great.
mean.
Well, yeah. And I mean, John says the difference is the perceptive health aspect.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. That's irrelevant to the conversation.
Yeah.
You can't say that, you can't price gouge hand sanitizer, but you can price gouge electronics.
Right.
Do you remember what the GPU market looked like during cryptocurrency? Where was my protection from eBay when people were selling $300 video cards for $900?
Yep.
I mean, give me a freaking break.
All right.
I'm pissed.
Let's talk a little bit about browsers. New academic research published last month looked at. Oh no, that's not. This is. I'm reading the wrong one. That's also interesting. Where is it? Sheesh. Did I lose it? I lost it.
I think Amnon just closed the tab.
Yeah, one tab I closed.
Physically,
But
with
anyway,
paper?
they found out that the worst where is this? No, this is it. Gosh, I just saw the phones. Looked at phone home telemetry features of 6 of today's most popular browsers and found that the Brave browser sent the smallest amount of data about the user back to the browser's maker's servers. The research conducted by Douglas J. Leith, a professor at Trinity College, University of Dublin, looked at Google, Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Apple Safari, Brave, Microsoft Edge, the new Chromium-based version, and the Yandex browser. In the first, most private group lies Brave. In the second, Chrome. Really.
Interesting.
Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. And in the third, least private group lies Edge and Yandex. The professor found evidence that Chrome, Firefox, and Safari all tagged telemetry data with identifiers that were linked to each browser instance. These identifiers allowed Google, Mozilla, and Apple to track users across browser restarts, but also across browser reinstalls. So Edge is one of the worst in sending data telemetry to Microsoft. Anybody here used Brave?
I use it.
You do?
Yep, use it at work.
And tell us.
It's great. Yeah, I mean, it's Chromium-based browser. I mean, there's nothing special about it. I mean, it's nice that they don't send any data, but it's a fine browser. I don't have any concerns with it. Yeah. It's nice. It's a nice browser. There's some stuff you got to turn off when you first use it when you install it the first time, but it's fine.
All right.
And I guess they're living up to what they say. They're supposed to be more of a privacy-centric browser, and they are.
Yeah.
So, props to them. I mean, are they the best? Definitely not. But
Well, they're not talking about here best or not best. This is just about privacy.
yeah, good for them. That's what they claim. So, make it happen.
Oh. And now for Gal here.
Okay.
Did you ever hear about Quibi?
Yeah, I heard about it.
A streaming service that has already raised more than 1.6 billion is finally almost here. And in an effort to entice people who are probably already spending too much on content every month, the short-form video streaming service is giving people a 90-day free trial for a limited time.
Right. So Quibi, if you haven't been bombarded with ads on YouTube, if it's this production company that's gonna stream content like Netflix and HBO.
So why they call it short?
Because
Short
a
form.
full movie in Quibi is like 15 minutes. And it'll star Denzel Washington, and so it'll be like a really, really serious production, but it'll be 15 minutes long. That's why they call it Quibi. I mean, that's what they're trying to tie the Quibi name with. Short content, but very, very highly produced, right? And so I think it comes from the realization that, especially the younger generation right now, consuming content, preferring the YouTube format of content. So in YouTube, there's two types of content that are successful. There are the short ones, which are like, like one topic, one very short length between 7 and 15 minutes. And there the extra long talks, an hour and a half, 2 hours, which our show goes into, right? But where it might start as live streaming and then just become like content that's shared later. And Quibi is going after that short term and dealing with making it. It'll be interesting because I think they got rights for some interesting content. I don't remember that there were a few I think War of the Worlds or something. They're going to make it in 15 minutes, something like that. I need to see the list. Yeah. So it's. I'm not saying that I don't believe they'll be successful. It's just really weird. If people think that a movie version of a book, right, loses a lot from the book because the content you would produce would take, I don't know, 10 hours, right? These guys are saying, hey, we don't even need 2 hours. We need 15 minutes. It's more like the commercial for the book. It's an interesting evolution.
So they actually take the movie and
they create the movie in the first place. They write the script to be 15 minutes long. It's yeah, it is interesting.
They said that once they're running, Quibi will cost $4.99 with ads, $7.99 without. And they do point out that that's more expensive than Apple TV Plus and Disney Plus.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We have no idea yet whether it's going to be successful or not. They did get a lot of money into it. So
yeah, I mean they raised 1.6. Yeah. Geez. 1.6 billion is hefty.
The Fugitive, that's what they're gonna. That's the. Yeah. So the Wikipedia has a few titles. So it says The Fugitives, there's Reno 911. There's a lot of titles that do not tie to anything that we know, but they're all going to be like 15 minutes. 10 minutes episode. Short form 10 minutes episodes. 10 minutes. Not even 15.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's like the Vine version of cinema.
Do for the Vine.
All right. This is also, we were talking about it a couple of weeks ago. As time goes on, it is becoming increasingly clear that Microsoft is trying to make local accounts a thing of the past and push all new Windows 10 users to a Microsoft account. Since Windows 10 1903, Microsoft quietly changed the Windows out-of-the-box experience or setup experience so that many users are no longer able to create a local account during setup as they could previously. Recently, this change also expanded to international users in India and Germany. For those affected, the only way to create a local account during setup is to disconnect the computer from the internet. That's what you said.
Which, if
Or
you
install
do it
Windows 10 Pro.
wirelessly, once you enter the network credentials, you cannot go back. So do not connect to the network. If it's a cable, yeah, you can just unplug it and you get that option. But if you go wirelessly, after you've put the credentials, the only way is shutting down the router. So don't connect to the network when you set up Windows, definitely.
Or get Windows 10 Pro. Pro lets you do it. Home is the one that doesn't.
Well, I don't know.
No, I installed Pro. I installed Pro, and I had the same experience.
I installed Pro this week and didn't have that issue.
They said that all Windows.
Yeah. That was my experience. I did it like 3 weeks ago or a month ago. Yeah.
So remember, don't enter any. If you want to have a local account, don't enter any network credentials. No wireless. I mean, it's better to start with a wire because you can unplug it, plug it, unplug it, plug it, and then once you're done, then do whatever you want.
Yeah, once it boots up, hook it to the network.
Yep.
You can create an online account if you really want to, but yeah. I mean, you can also go through the setup of creating an account, an online account, and then creating a local account.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
right. You can always set
up. But and do note that even if you do go the offline way, it still asks you, and I don't understand why, but it still asks you to enter 3 personal questions like security questions in order to recover your password, even though it's going to be local. So, yeah.
He said, yes, that's right. Microsoft now makes you disconnect the computer from the internet to create a local account.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll discover...
If you don't want to disconnect your network, then you need to first set up Windows with a Microsoft account.
Right.
And then, when done with setup, go into Windows 10 Family and other users' settings and create a local account. Even that is a bit convoluted, as you have to first start the process of creating a Microsoft account, and finally on the second screen, be given the option that you wish to create a local account.
Right.
Once a local account has been created, you can delete the original Microsoft account you created during setup.
Yeah.
It is convoluted.
It's convoluted, and I really hope that this media talk and inconvenience from how they call them today, influencers, right? All the YouTube crowd. I really hope that it will change Microsoft's mind on this part, but I doubt it. Yeah, I doubt it.
Then
it blows up their subscription model.
Yeah, I mean, it gives them a lot of control. And look, there's nothing bad inherently in the Microsoft account-based solution, because you do have this online way of resetting your passwords and stuff like that. It's not a bad concept. The problem is forcing it on you, and that's not giving you a choice.
It's saved a couple of my customers in the commercial environment by having all that information. So if I want to reinstall a machine, I don't have any information, I can log in with their account, find out what subscriptions they have, if it's Office 360 or whatever. All that stuff is, if you log in and click on that machine, it'll show you how to get to reinstalling, and so it is convenient.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not dishing the convenience. I'm not
Oh, no,
saying there's no
me
merit.
too. I like it.
Yeah,
But I have a
make it
couple of
an option.
machines I still have offline accounts on.
Yeah.
Because I just see no reason to be logged in.
Exactly.
All right.
Or install
The
Linux.
one I use for video editing and capture has no login, no online account.
Yeah, it's like there was this old email signature line. It's like the box said install Windows 95 or better, so I installed Linux, right?
Or better.
Yeah, looks like we're going back to those jokes again, because some of the moves recently are like, they feel like shoving down our throats.
Yeah,
So,
they are.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I haven't seen any bad stories about updates this week.
Yeah, well.
But anyway.
Did they re-release that update that corrupted people's profiles? I don't remember. I didn't hear anything about it.
I know that machine over there keeps begging me to update it.
Yeah, and you're hesitant. I understand.
Now, what else? Come on, guys.
I know nothing.
No, nothing. Let's see. I'm having a real weird problem here. I've got the router, which doesn't do, as far as I know, it doesn't do any Wi-Fi. I've got another router that does only Wi-Fi, and I have two what do you call them? Extenders.
Okay.
And I
They're
noticed,
wired?
Huh?
The extenders are wired?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, everything wired.
Okay.
Are these the Ingenious stuff?
No, this is TP-Link. The Ingenious is gone.
Oh.
So around the living room and the center of the house, it's always TP-Link 3. It's the strongest because it's right there on the porch. And since I've been laying on the couch most of the day with my sciatica, I noticed what's going on. It's not updating messages.
Okay.
I mean, I know I got messages. And I go and I said, refresh, nothing. It just goes, and comes back and nothing. I switched to one of the extenders, which was very low power. The minute I switched to it, bring, everything populated. Yet, if you're on TP-Link 3, which is the main one, the router, you can do everything else except it will not update messages, it will not update texts, it will not, anything that needs updating. But to go on the internet, oops, it works fine. And I can't figure out. First, I tried it by turning off Wi-Fi on the phone, and everything came. I said, okay, so it's not the phone. It's weird. Then I went into the router, not the main one, the wireless one, and I can't remember what it was. There was something about to allow speed boost or whatever. It's a TP-Link also.
Okay.
And, okay, nothing changed. But last night, Kathy says, Alexa won't turn off my light. And she won't turn off the one by the door. But the other two are okay.
So Alexa would respond, would affect some of the house, but not all of the house?
Right.
Okay.
It would say that there is no service as this one.
Okay.
Unplug the outlet and plug it back in. No difference. But two of them work, two of them don't work.
And they're all hooked up to that.
to the same. Yeah. It's really strange.
I mean, it
Really
might be a malfunction in the Wi-Fi.
Then why? I mean, it's a malfunction somewhere. But I mean, why is it working okay with two of them?
What
two
about
out-
just changing the channel? Maybe there's an overlapping channel.
I
Something
think
in your neighborhood might have changed too. Somebody might have
Yeah.
added new network and
Right, and
not-
so there's...
try rebooting everything, unplug it, and plug it back in again and let it find itself again. If it does automatic channel assignment,
it's-
sometimes it'll actually look for the least busy channel. What is the AC rating of that network? How fast?
It's not
Any
AC.
idea?
It's BGN.
Well, there's your problem.
Why?
Because all that old stuff, your legacy stuff, you have to dumb down the network. Something changed. Something probably got. Did you add anything new to the network that's an older device?
No. Not,
Because what
let's put it
happens
this
is-
way. Let's put it this way. Not that I know of.
Because if you add an old B or G, B, I doubt you even get it to work on some of these newer routers. But if G or
Yeah.
end device,
What I need
you have
to do,
you have to have basically legacy turned on for all those things to be supported, and that basically dumbs down the network for everybody because it can only allow, unless you it gets tricky. The AC stuff for it to work right has to be just AC devices to really take advantage of the noise cancellation and error recovery and all the stuff that happens with AC.
Can we know from the router, can it provide any detail on what type of connections, what type of connection requests we're getting?
What the devices?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's good point. Maybe I'm not aware of how to do it, but I'm sure there must be a debug mode. that
Yeah.
you can
I
turn
was
on.
I was trying to connect to the main router,
Yeah.
and it won't even see it. And the radio is on and everything on. The phone will not find that.
Can you find it with other devices?
I didn't
Like
try
a
anything
P-
with
P-
that. I mean,
Right,
we
PC
hardly we hardly use. I don't think. I mean,
Yeah.
the only thing that we use for wireless is are the phones.
That is there
Well-
something about the setup of that first router that you couldn't bypass just to test? Like basically wire around it? You said, is this like a router behind a router? You have
It's
two routers?
it's a router that does. It's the router on
Spectrum?
Spectrum.
Yeah.
That's mine. It's an Asus.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then the old TP-Link router that I used to use, I repurposed to use as a wireless power, what do you call it?
Access point.
Access point.
So the router function's not operating then?
No. No DHCP, no nothing.
Right.
So it's weird. I mean, I don't expect, I
Interesting.
mean, I just wanted to
Every once in a while you run into these weird things and it turns out it could be a component failure.
yeah, it could be.
Yeah, but you're right. We should try to rule out everything before the component.
Yeah. To just, I remember being taught the diagnostic approach at IBM was you look at a problem, you divide it in half, and you see which half works.
Right.
And then you can drill down to say, okay, now that I know that this half is the failing half, divide that in half and see what works.
Yeah.
And just think about it that way. And you can logically eliminate. Well, in this case, there really isn't a whole lot to eliminate.
Yep. That's what I teach my techs at work.
What?
This methodology of thinking.
Oh.
I call it zooming out and zooming in. You always zoom out to look at the entire system of the data flow where things are connected. Then you zoom in at the problem point you want to test. Then you zoom out and you zoom into another point.
My first question when I go in to diagnose something is, when was the last time it worked? And what have you done since then?
Yeah, but that's the problem, right? Nobody has done anything, and it used to work.
They won't admit it. Yeah,
it used to work.
Yeah,
It used
I
to work.
brought in my
That's it.
device from home and I plugged it into the network and it stopped working. And oh well, I'm not going to admit that I did that.
Yeah. Have you ever watched House, the TV show?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Everybody lies.
Yeah.
That's the reality of any support thing. It doesn't matter if it's medical or not. It's like even if they don't know, they're lying. It's like they're omitting something that is critical, but they don't know it's relevant. That's still a white lie.
There used to be, back in the early days of IBM service, everybody would have their story.
Yeah.
About going into, it could be a typewriter, could be a copier, whatever it was, it didn't matter. But you'd have the story. You come in and say, this isn't doing the typewriter. I'm getting an extra space. This is one of the best classic ones. I'm getting extra spaces when I'm typing. Guy would sit down at the machine, test it out. Everything's perfect, right? Nothing's wrong. Well, who would, this would be like the supervisor. Well, who's getting this problem? They go over and see this lady, and the lady is large. She's physically very big. And the problem was that her physicalness was actually smacking the space bar. And she didn't realize it. Now, all right, roll your chair back 6 inches and type, and it wouldn't do it. As soon as she rolled the chair up close to it again, she started to get extra spaces. It's like, and how do you delicately tell somebody this, right?
Yeah.
Hey, the problem is,
Well, you introduce her
to
you introduce
they
her
would say,
to wireframe bras.
They used to say, the machine is running too fast. So the guy would tie knots in the line cord. He'd say, is that, wait, let me tie one knot. All right, now try it again. Oh, let me tie 2 knots. Oh, that's better. Great. Leave it there. Don't untie those knots.
That's precious.
Or you go in with the phantom screwdriver. Okay, now I'm going to go in the back and I'm going to adjust the speed. Type and tell me when it's better. And you say, all right, I turned it 1 full turn. Is that better? A little bit. Turn it another full. Okay, how's that? Great. It was all psychological.
Placebo effect in tech. Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I guess we can end today's show. Nothing? Going once? All right.
Sold.
So thanks, Spence. Thank you, God. Nick. Good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie and Donna, Dina. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing, back up your hard drive, and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Nick, you're doing a show tonight?
Yes, sir.
All right, so at 7 o'clock tonight, it's Nick Craig with Against the Norm at www.atnshow.com. And if you're in Wilmington, you can listen to 106.7 Wilmington Big Talker. See you, everybody, next week.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at Nissan